Hello, Lama from BakuDev here, and in this tutorial series we will be learning how to create a multiplayer-proof building system. We're going to take care of validation of the replication, we're going to create a data table where you can save all your buildables, we're going to create some modular classes which you can then extend your buildables from, and as always you can get the project files from our Patreon. It would mean a lot to us, but let's get right into it. So let's start setting everything up. I'm working in my in a level. I just assume you have one, and I'm using the first-person character and the first-person player controller. If you don't have that, or if you already have your own character, you can use that. If you need a character real quick, you can just hit add feature or content pack and import the first-person character, and then you will have a level and the character. So let's start creating the folders. I'm going to create a systems folder, and in that I'm going to create the build system folder, and for the build system we are going to need a actor component. So you can go over here, blueprint class, actor component, and we call it AC underscore build ability, because that's the component you're going to give the character at the end, so he has the ability to build, obviously. And after that we're going to create an actor which is called BP buildable. That's the base for our buildable items. So if you want now to create a wall, for example, you can create a child blueprint class. And we also need some materials, or one material, and we call it m underscore build preview. That will later be used to make it red or green, depending on if it's valid to place. And we are also going to use a structure, struct underscore buildable, that will later be used to populate our data table, which we will now create, where all the, just search for struct over here, where all the buildables are saved in. Data table buildable, but we're not going to populate that for now, that's for a later episode, but we are going to do start creating the material. And for that we are going to first change the blend mode over here to translucent gray transmittance, like so. Why is my editor lagging? Okay, perfect. And we're going to create a color by pressing 3 on your keyboard and then clicking. That's how you get a color. And we are going to make it green, for example. Hit right click and hit convert to param and call it overlay color. And from that we're going to drag out the RGB, substrate, unlit, BSDF, and we're going to save that, put that into our front material. And we are also going to put opacity override by hitting 1, clicking. That's how you get a float parameter, also convert to parameter opacity. And we're going to drag that into the override like so. And we're going to put that to 0.5, save, and that concludes our build material. We can now go ahead and hit right click, create material instance, build invalids, and we are also going to create one for mi build valid, like so. The valid one can be left at green, the other one will be put to red, like so. Okay, so that's the base setup, that's all the files we will need, and we can now go ahead and start creating our build ability. And for that we're going to open it up and create some variables at the start. First off, we need the build range, we need the preview actor, BP underscore buildable, because it will always be buildable. And we need the valid mat, we need the invalid mat, and we can material instance here, search for object, same over here, material, nah, bro, material instance, and the valid mat we have to compile. The valid mat is our valid material, and the invalid one is obviously the invalid, and that's that. Perfect. And we can now go ahead and start to create some custom events. The first one is start build preview, like so, and in that we're going to set timer by event. We're going to check looping and the update frequency of our preview. I don't know, 0.01 should be enough. And we're going to promote the timer to our preview timer, so we can stop it at a later moment, and drag out of the event button, create custom event, and build preview. That's what gets executed every 0.01 seconds. And in that, we're going to create a line trace by channel, out hit, we're going to break hit results, and we're going to take return branch, like so. And yeah, we can do it like that. And we also need another variable, which is our origin, and that is an arrow component object reference, like that. We can drag out of the origin. Oh, first we have to change the build range to float. Just noticed that, sorry. Like so. And we can now get world location. After that we want to get forward vector. We want to multiply the forward vector, convert that to a float by our build range, so we can control how far the player can build. And we now have to do that, and that will be our endpoint, and the start point will just be the world location from the origin. So we now have the origin, and we get the forward vector times, for example, 500, and that's the endpoint. And for actors to ignore, we're going to take our preview actor and put it into here, so we can't hit that. And that's that, perfect. Now we're going to take the break hit result, take our location vector, snap to grid. Our grid size should be 100. You don't need to do that if you want a complete flexible building system where it does not snap at all, but for the tutorial we're going to create a snapping one. And now we can start to create our preview actor, and for that we have to get it here and do a validated get 2 times for false and true. And for false, if it's valid, we want to destroy the actor and set the preview actor, no, not get, set the preview actor as none. And if it's not valid and we have hit nothing, we don't have to do anything. And if it's not valid, we want to spawn actor from class. I'm just going to use BP buildable over here. Later on we're going to use a parameter for that. And the spawn transform, we can split that, get our location, spawn transform location, like so. And we then want to set our preview actor like so. We can now go ahead and save it, and that's that. And if it's already valid, we just want to set actor location here, and the new location will also be that one. We want to take our preview actor, and we can do it like that. Perfect. And that's that. We later on obviously have to do some validation in here, but that's that for now. And now we're going to create another custom event, which is called request place. And we're going to create another one, which is called server place, because the placing should only take place on the server. So we can now just get our preview actor on the local thing, get class. We can get actor transform. And now we want to drag out of here and spawn an actor from class, drag the spawn transform and class into here, set replicates after that, hit the checkbox, and we can now server underscore place and put these into here. This one should be run on server and reliable because we're placing something, and that should always be transported, and that's that. Perfect. Okay, so we now have to put that on exposed. We also have to do nothing else because the origin will be set in the blueprint. And that's our buildability for now. So we can now go ahead and close that. Let me open up the BP buildable real quick and just add a cube. Oh no. Cube, like so. And we're going to put it on the ground. So it's up 50 because that's the origin. If we don't do that, it will be stuck in the ground. Save that, and if we now go to our first person character, open it up, add the buildability, get our begin play, and we can then go into the viewport, get the camera, add arrow, origin. Let me just fix the double I real quick. No, wait. Origin, like so. And that should be a child of the camera and directly at the camera because that's the origin of the raycast. And we can also put the build range to 500. And we unfortunately can't select the arrow over here. We have to set it in our begin play. So set origin, get our origin like this. And perfect. And we're also, just for debugging, so I can show you real quick what we have done now. I'm going to start build preview in here, in the begin play already. And also get our buildability like this. Save. And if we now start, you can see that it's spawning there. If we look at nothing, why is my editor lagging so hard? Okay. We can see that it despawns, so it only works when we're actually looking at something. We can't place yet, that's the preview. So we now have to add our preview material and add the functionality to actually spawn the actors. And to do that, we're going to open up our actor component again. And we want to set the material if our preview is active and it's valid. Then we want to take our preview actor, get num materials, I think, yep. And then we're going to make a for loop and put that into the last index, but -1 first, like so. Just stack that like so. Put it under here, and then we're going to put that into the for loop, and now we're going to set material, and the element index will be our for index, and the material will be selected, get valid and get invalid, and it will be a boolean, and we have to switch these out because invalid will be false and that will be true. And in the boolean we're later going to put our validation check, but we're going to do that in the next episode, so I'll just put it to always valid, just true. And now we can save that and test real quick how that is looking. Let me open up the level real quick, like this, and we can see that it's now green. Okay, perfect. And if it was invalid, it would be red. Perfect. Okay, now we have to adjust the place functionality real quick. So we are going to go into our first person character, open it up like here, and we then want to just get a key for debugging purposes. I'm going to use F, no, not Shift, F. and we're going to take our buildability and request a place. On pressed, we want to request that. And if we now test and hit F, we can see that we can build. And if we now test with 2 instances as a listen server, we can see that, where is he? That everybody can see the placed things. The preview is only visible for one player, or the owning player, which is nice. But yeah, that works now. And that's that for this episode, because otherwise it will get too long. In the next episodes, we're going to make the actual validation. We're going to adjust the controls so the player can actually control when to build, and the preview actually stops after placing the object. But yeah, that's a base you can probably work with. If anything hasn't worked for you, or you have some other issues, don't hesitate to write a comment and ask, or join our Discord, and then I will help you. I hope you enjoyed it. Please subscribe our channel, like the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.